Why hello! This is Fiendly doing a Let's Play of a game for the 2007 thread on the Something Awful Let's Play forum. And this is a game about an exploding skeleton. In fact, we're going to learn that that exploding skeleton is the overworld that's being invaded. And this mad scientist and his mutant friend have created us to stop this orange ogre. I believe we are foolish enough to stop him. Even though we are undead, we're going to have to be careful as we travel through DecapAttack as Chuck D. Head, the zombified mummy. This is a rather unique game, so let's get right into it. For starters, I'm gonna max out my health, just to be safe. Oh, that done. Let's get rolling. Into the Abdomainland. I really hope you like puns, because if you haven't noticed, this game is practically made of them. And we get an early introduction to our friend, Head. Yes, our skull, which we whip at the enemies to kill them. It's named Head. I'm going to try and just call him Skull, so that I don't have to accidentally say, get Head anytime. It's probably going to happen anyway, but if it does, I promise it won't be on purpose. Now we can also Mario the enemies. Sort of a staple of this time period, 1991. Or we can use Chuck's own face in his torso to kill enemies, but that's a very short range attack. Highly risky. And as we open these totems, we get items to use in case of emergency. Probably won't need to do that on this first world. It's transparent platforms, which means we can travel through them. The solid ground we cannot travel through from underneath. And this pole here. Supposedly this is used to recover health. And if you can land on the top, it's supposed to turn white and recover your hearts. I have literally never been able to get it to work. So hopefully throughout the course of this Let's Play, I'll figure it out. It would be a first, though. And over here we got a pool of lava with falling donut blocks over it. Lava is instant death no matter how much health you have. So we will be avoiding it like the plague, which we have most likely been struck with. Just want to thoroughly check for items. They will come in handy in later levels, but this is cleaned out. Should we die, the totems that we've opened will not respawn, they'll stay open. And that can be a problem if we, for example, use a heart that we didn't need. But again, this introductory level, quite easy. The game as a whole, though, not so easy. We'll be getting into trouble later on, but for now, nice breeze through this charming horror-themed world. It's actually not originally horror-themed. This is the American remake of a game called Magical Hat Flying Turbo Adventure, which, it's a licensed game based on an anime. They didn't have the license to release it in America, so they did this. And we got hit there. Instead of... oh, in addition to taking damage, we lost our friend Head. And, here's a visual glitch that happens sometimes. The starting icon there accidentally floats to the top of the screen here. I've only ever seen that happen one other time. I was hoping to show it off, actually, but I didn't think it was going to happen. So we're in luck. This Let's Play is blessed. Except I can't make this jump. You can do this hilarious Three Stooges routine to walk in the air. There we go, finally made it up that. Oh. Now, in the original game, Magical Hat, we would have died. There is no health. If you have your little throwing friend in that game, you can survive one hit, and if you don't, you die. That said, it's actually not harder than this game. This game has a ludicrous number of enemies just floating around absolutely everywhere to make up for the increased health that our hero has. And there's skulls lying around all over the place. Usually you're in pretty good condition, even if you get hit and lose it. However, if you die, you don't get those totems to respawn, and the skull always appears inside the totems. Therefore, you can totally screw yourself and end up having to do a level that you already died in without the skull, which makes things much, much easier. Another way that this game can become needlessly difficult. That said, it is quite a well-designed game. I do like it a lot. The horror theme is what originally drew me to it, but the charm of the actual gameplay is what kept me going. Look at all these unique animations. Chuck sliding around. A lot of the enemies do not suit the horror theme, and that's because they are from Magical Hat. Like this guy with the arrow on his head. But the ghost, of course. That's unique to this version. Moving on to the third and final stage of this particular level, the Abdomainland. I think it's about time we checked out our items menu, which uses this horrible cursor system. It's a terrible idea. And it's got really slow scrolling text to tell us what all the items are. I never remember what the items do. And I never want to sit through that slow scrolling text in the middle of combat to figure out what it's supposed to do. So I never end up using items, but this time I'm gonna show them off. For starters, this weird thing, I always used to think it looks like Uncle Sam with like a red, white, blue top hat. Apparently that's just a pair of test tubes in a holder, but I figured it would have been festive if it were Uncle Sam. This being the 4th of July. And this menu is terrible. I always repeatedly hit the ask button over and over again. What really matters is this slot here. Don't have one yet, but I'll need to find it to clear the round. And yeah, he's not kidding. That's an essential item. It's right over here. Now that we've collected that, you can see it's right here. And we can use it to save the island. Every stage has one of those, an item that is required to finish the stage. It's always in the 3rd and final level. And they're going to get much harder to find as the game progresses. This one was kind of a gimme as an introduction to the concept. There's all kinds of branching paths in this game. You can pretty much go through it a different way every single time you play it. For example, I could pretty much fly over this stage had I not fallen down to this lower level here. Avoid most of the obstacles. You can hop on the arrows. A lot of neat detail. I'm a little out of practice with this game. I will be getting better at it as we progress, or I will be dying horribly. I'm trying to show off an animation here, wherein Chuck walks on air. We'll be seeing it. Oh, that should have not hit me, but oh well. I've got hardly any health left, but we should be okay. And I lost the skull. That's fine, I can work on a skeleton crew here. That was close. This game is actually the 4th in a series of games that are not sequentially numbered. In fact, they are... Oh, I died. They're not even really spiritual successors to one another. They're actually pretty much re-releases of the same game under different names every single time. Subtly trying to perfect the formula without letting anyone know that it's the same game over and over again. There's a danger when you're using that pole to do nothing. Pretty sure there's an extra skull lying in one of these that I forgot to pick up. Could be mistaken, though. Donut blocks also do not respawn between deaths. And in more lava-strewn levels, that can be a serious problem. Also, you can't go through the underside of donut blocks. The game controls reliably, but it's awkward to get used to. Very few other games besides the ones in this series control the way this one does. So, yeah, it's easy to fall out of practice and become terrible like I have. But we're very near the end. In fact, I don't want to accidentally fly over the boss, so I'm going to land. Here we go. Meet the potentially racist boss. There we go. There's the walking on air animation I was trying to show off. Throws his witch doctor mask. Can be hard to avoid, but there we go. It's a simple, repetitive pattern. And knowing that you can stand on his head makes this much easier. You wouldn't think you can, which led to a lot of unnecessary deaths my first time fighting this guy. The closer you are to him, the less likely he is to hit you when he first throws it. Risk-reward system there. Almost got him. And he's done for. This skull would have made even shorter work of this poor guy. There we go. First stage completed. Can refill our health for some reason over here. It's actually a good reason. Health does not refill between stages. Ah, sweet victory. Sweet glitched out victory. And we collected a few coins among the other items that we got here. Placing the coins drops a little Chuck D head in one of the paths. That's the 4th of July. Let's put at least one on the 4th section. These actually aren't randomized. They follow the same pattern every time you play the game. So if you somehow memorize them, you can get the best result every single time. I certainly have not. I prefer to just roll the dice. Let's find out what we get. Not a bad result. Only lost one of them. That restores the mainland to its rightful place, causing horrific tsunamis from this massive tectonic action. But who cares? We're going to Elbow Island. More puns. Join me next time for more skull throwing and puns. So many puns.